I'm taking a chance here to take some time and kind of go through a tutorial of the customization options in Super Mega Baseball 2. There is just a ton of options. It's really super fun if you kind of enjoy doing that thing. Obviously, that is something I do enjoy doing. If you haven't got a chance to check out my Team Builder Dynasty, obviously that's kind of something that you can do with that too. Is go on to the EA Sports Team Builder website, kind of create your own team, make your own uniforms, do all of that kind of stuff. And this has a very similar type feel to it in that you can, there are just a ton of options to make your own team. And so I kind of wanted to show you what I've done to this point to kind of make a new team, kind of show you the process a little bit, talk about, creating a logo, creating a team name, choosing team colors and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully if you enjoy this kind of stuff, you'll enjoy this video. But let's kind of get right into it here. Ultimately, to get to that area of customization, if you don't really even know that, you just go to actually play here, hit X. I'm on PlayStation 4, so it's the X button, and then you kind of scroll down here to customize. Specifically, you want to customize a team. So you click on the team option there. This Lucky Leprechauns one is the one that my daughter and I have made. We've kind of done the logo, done the uniforms, and we're kind of making some of, it's going to be loosely based on our family. So our entire team is going to be made up of family members. We're kind of still trying to figure out whether or not we want to use leprechaun names for fun. And or just kind of use first names. Obviously, we don't really want to use last names, being that this is all on the internet. But in any case, that's kind of the one that we made. What I want to do, I want to show you here, if you want to make your own teams, this is the screen you start at. So as you can see here, this is at this point, the only team that I have made. If I want to add a team, obviously you scroll down here, you click on add a team, hit the X button there, and you are able to go to add a team. Now, this is where you start. There are a ton of team options here with already sort of pre-made logos that you can either change, keep as is, however you want to do it. It's up to you. It's completely customizable. So, there are A's, a ton of A's, H aquatics, Arctics, get into B's, Berserkers, Bionics, Bird, Lizards, Blurs. I mean, there are just an absolute ton of kind of pre-made teams, if you will, that you can kind of take over and adjust to your liking, and or you can really just start from scratch and make your own. If you're a little artistic, you can definitely just kind of go through and basically start with this one. Let's just say these Freedom ones, delete everything off and almost start, basically start fresh. I'm going to kind of go through a little bit of, I want to find the original. Lucky Breaks was actually the one that, as you can see there, if you take a quick comparison to, the team that my daughter and I kind of made up, the original name was the Lucky Breaks. Obviously the leprechaun head's still there. We just changed the name to the Lucky Leprechauns, made some adjustments to the colors, and then went on from there, made the uniforms. I'll kind of show you that one in a little bit. But I wanted to, actually, you know what, I'll show you that one right now. So obviously I just kind of took this one that was already pre-made, kind of turned it into what looks like that now. If you just kind of go to edit your team, you kind of see all the options. Specifically in this section here, you're kind of looking at your team, where you think your home park is going to be. Obviously you've got your home facility. It can be any of the ones in the game, really. I chose the Emerald Diamond one, obviously, for the Lucky Leprechauns. It seems to kind of fit with the name. Then if you specifically kind of want to adjust the name, logo, and colors, which is what I did, I kind of went into this section. Again, this was the Lucky, I can't even remember now what they're, the Lucky Beats, I think it was. So I changed the name to the Lucky Leprechauns. These are kind of all of your different layers of things. We'll go through a little bit more how this works. I'll kind of show you another one that I'm going to change here in just a minute. You can see each section kind of light up there on the primary logo of what you're going to change if you're going to change it. there's different little sections here. The Lucky specifically, for instance, these are my color options. That first one there with the number 5 on it are color options. So if I hit the X button, I can go in and I can change the colors of specifically that Lucky word. I want to keep that white, obviously. If you kind of move to the inside here, this is fonts. I specifically, you can kind of see a number there. It's number 17. So obviously, if you've got multiple words under letters in your logo, you just want to make sure, if you can see leprechauns there is also 17. If you kind of go through here, these are all of your different options of type of fonts. I obviously just picked one that kind of fit what I liked, and so that happened to be number 17. And then if you want to change what it says, you kind of hit this T for text. If you want to move it up and or down in layers, and kind of how that affects things is, it has to do a little bit with your outlines and different things. As you can see, there's an outline here, which is the green outline. And there's kind of an outline down here that's also green. This one's kind of yellow. You can kind of see them again. Actually, you can't really see them light up there. Sorry, I was trying to. A lot of times you can see what you're going to change light up, like that leprechaun head lights up, obviously, the clover lights up. But the outlines, as you can see, there's an arrow that kind of points up. So everything above that area, so including the words there and the swishes that are there, will all be whatever color I choose. And again, that's just going to be an outline. If you kind of click ahead here specifically to, this is, what your away baseball hat is going to look like, what the logo is going to be on the front. I chose to keep this as is. I kind of changed this up again based on what was already there, from the Lucky Beets to the Lucky Leprechauns. Changed the font and kind of all that stuff. And then this is the other hat. And then obviously there's this change that I made to this one. So those are kind of just some quick changes, that you might kind of make to things. I think we'll just kind of run through one of these just to kind of give you an idea of how to do that. So I'm actually going to go back out here. We're going to come back down to add a team. And what I want to do is I want it to, just using one of the already pre-made logos, I'm going to scroll over here to Hooligans is the one I want to use. It's a very similar, there we go, very similar logo type actually to my Red Rock Wranglers NCAA Football 14 franchise. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, you really should. That's a lot of fun. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to turn this logo into a Wranglers logo, and we'll have a Wranglers baseball team. So we're going to start with the Hooligans here. We're going to create this team. So we hit X. Comes in, brings it right up there. It's going to show you a quick picture here of what your team currently looks like. Obviously, you can go in and do player editing later if that's what you so choose to do. We can talk about that at some point if that's something that some people want to see. But let's kind of change this one to sort of match my color scheme and stuff for my Red Rock Wranglers NCAA Football 14. So if I'm in here, ultimately, first and foremost, I don't really know that H of, that the Hooligans applies. It's the Wranglers. So my team name here, I'm going to hit the X button. We're going to switch this up from Hooligans to Wranglers. So we'll quickly do that here. Actually, I see it there. We'll just say delete one back and say, now it's the Wranglers. Obviously, that H there doesn't really apply anymore, so we're going to be on the T for text to change that text. So if we click on that, that's going to bring up that H there. We're going to take that out and we're going to make it a W for the Wranglers. So that's one quick change. You've obviously got a couple of outlines here that we could choose to mess with the color scheme a little bit. Again, I want this to look as similar to my Red Rock Wranglers franchise. So let's, we got to change up some colors here. So let's pick this 3 color here. That can ultimately make that hat look that color, or I want it to be gray because that's, the color scheme of my Red Rock Wranglers football team is kind of this red and gray color. So we're going to switch that up to gray. I do want to switch up this more maroon color. The one that I have for my Red Rock Wranglers franchise is it's a little bit more reddish, if you will, rather than maroon. So if you come into kind of, you didn't see that here, I'm going to hit this extra colors, gear, and logo. I'm going to hit that plus sign. And then I can kind of scroll through and pick a color that better fits what I think that Red Rock Wranglers color is. And I think we'll go, let's go darker, just maybe a little bit too pink. That's a little bit too something else. I think that's pretty good. We're gonna go with that. So that's kind of the the mask, their handkerchief, if you will. And then we're gonna, that bottom one is really just a swish that they called it, but we're gonna keep that black. Then obviously there's the outline. So let's kind of mess with the outlines here a little bit. We got multiple outlines. As you can see here, we probably really need to change this orangish colored one. We could switch it up to this new red color that I just made. That's not a bad option. Or we can come out here, switch up this one. As you can see where it changes the logo. So actually it looks like there's about 3 layers of outline. And you can actually see that here on this create a layer here to the left. These first 2, as you can see here, are right below this W, so they're both going to apply that W. But then kind of the bad thing about this whole system, I guess, is that this now outline down here applies to the entire thing. So you get these initial 2 outlines around just the W. If I brought those 2 outlines down here below outlaw, the outlaw picture, then that outline would change. So just to kind of show you what that looks like, if I wanted to do that, let's just make this some crazy color just to show you what that looks like. So we'll just make it super bright green, and we want to drop it down so it will include the outlaw and the W. So what you do is kind of come over here to this down arrow, press down a couple times, and now as you can see there, it's actually surrounding that outlaw and the W. I don't really obviously like how that looks, so we're going to come back up here. We're going to take that back off. Let's switch the color. I actually think what I want to do here is change the color of the W. So let's go up to the W, click on that color there, and then we would think, do we want it to be that dark color? Sure. So we'll go with that dark color. And then we need to change some outline colors here. So let's go back to this one, and let's change this one to, I think, gray. Gray looks nice. And then we'll come down to this. That white outline is going to surround the entire thing now at this point. So we could make that, let's, for curiosity's sake, just take a look and see what it looks like if it's black. I don't love that at the moment. We're going to cancel that for just a minute. We're going to come back up to this outline. I forgot to change the color on this one. And if we actually just change that to black, that's a really nice looking logo there, I think. You can kind of see if we switch that up to white and or gray, just for curiosity's sake, let's back out of this. Let's change that gray outline of the W to black. And then let's change this outline to gray. And that looks pretty good too. You guys can tell me what you think, but I think we're going to stick with this one here for now. Just kind of, ultimately, I'm just trying to give you guys an idea how this works. So that is my primary logo. The other big key thing to this is you can move these. And so I think I want to do is, it doesn't seem very centered on my screen here. So if I want to, say, move the outlaw, if I come over here, as you can see right below the whole primary logo there, I can just say move design and hit the square button. So I'm going to hit that square button, and these are some options you have here. One is you can just kind of use the D-pad or the left stick and just kind of move the head over. The other thing you can do, if you hit R1 or L1 at the top there, it kind of rotates it. But we'll leave it kind of right there for right now. And then if you do R2 and L2, it actually makes it bigger or smaller. So you can kind of pick what your preference is there. What I wanted to do more than anything was just kind of move it over As you can see, my outline there of the W on the left-hand side in that primary logo screen is actually not fully shown. So I just kind of wanted to move a little bit over. That's kind of, I think, good for the Outlaw. So we'll hit X to accept that. I'll move this swish over again. So we'll kind of do this 4. And that's the thing that kind of sits underneath the, kind of give them a shoulder or a neck there. We'll move that over a couple. We'll accept that. And then let's move the W over a little bit. Hit square there to move the text. And then we'll just move it over a few so it's actually in line. And there it is. So there is my primary logo. Looks very similar, obviously, with that head or that Outlaw. I think in the Red Rock Wranglers, it's a very similar gray helmet. Kind of red handkerchief, so that's pretty nice. So the Red Rock Wranglers there, that's pretty cool. So we will accept that. Now you got to make a decision on what you want your helmets and shirts to look like. So this is one option. You know, we can kind of keep our helmets to have this use this very same logo if you so choose. So the bad part is here is, as you can see, you know, my hat logo reverts back to all of the colors that I just changed, and I changed obviously to a W. You know, it's reverting back to the H for the hooligans. So what we want to do is just, if we like how this looks and we want this to be what is on our hat, then we just need to go back to this one here, and if you can see up in that upper right hand corner it says copy logo. So if we just hit triangle, we're going to copy that logo, and we can decide where else we want it to go. So I am specifically going to say I want it on my away hat. And so now my primary logo and my hat logo, away hat logo, will look you know, exactly the same. If you didn't see here, we're looking up at the top section there, looking at the primary logo versus, well, you know, what your hats look like, your away hat. This is what the away jersey at this point is going to look like. This is obviously your home hat. And then your home jersey, what's specifically on the jersey. So let's quickly let's change and kind of change the home hat to signify or show the same thing. So let's go here again. We want to copy this logo again, but now we want to move it over to the home hat. Just make sure you highlight that, say copy, and boom, that is done. Now unfortunately we don't have an easy thing to copy here, so we have to decide, one, do you like this just kind of with the, you know, H but will be a W, and then obviously you know, depending on how you like that Outlaw head, whether or not that's what you want your jersey to look like. So you can well, first and foremost, let's change it. So first off, let's change the text. So we go to that T again. We're going to delete that H, switch it to a W, hit R2, and be done with that aspect of it. Now we got to change the colors. So we decided to change the W, or I decided to change the W to this new made-up color, which is number 7. So we will pick number 7 to change that. And then if we want it to look similar to the W on the primary logo, we got to change the outlines here. So we'll change this first outline. I think I actually picked black. Take a quick look back. So black is kind of the first one. That's the closest one to the red. That's the one we want to deal with first. So we'll go to that first outline, change the color here, hit X, and change this to black. You can obviously see it changing as I'm moving through here. So we'll change that to black. The next color was, let's go take a quick look. It was gray. So we'll kind of go down here to the second one. This orangish color, we're going to hit the X button, switch that to number 5, which is gray, and there is our W for Wranglers. And then we need to change how this Outlaw looks. So it actually already changed the outline of it, and that was based on these outlines, because again, any outlines that are underneath, you know, your picture, whether or not that's words, whether or not that's a photo, you know, your image, if you will, anything under, any outlines underneath it is going to go around all of it. So let's change the Outlaw colors here real quick to, we don't like obviously this pink color. We wanted to actually, his hat was gray, so we'll come over here to number 5, hit the X button, change real quick this maroonish number 1 to number 7. And there it is. Now everything matches, everything looks good. I like how that looks, so we should probably go ahead and copy that design over to now our home jersey as well. So we'll kind of click back here, we'll hit copy. And we want to copy it obviously to the home jersey, so you just make sure what you're copying is blue. You move your yellowish square around to where you want it to go, hit copy, and boom, that part is done. So as you can see here, we have a nice Red Rock Wranglers. Yeah, actually, thanks for watching. Comment, this is the full game. Just kind of going through, trying to show everybody how to customize things, make a team. Kind of this team customization options are really nice in this game. It's a lot of fun to do. At this point, we're just kind of working on the logos, you know, and obviously what it's going to look like on your jerseys with those logos. So we're just kind of taking one that was already in the system and just kind of changing it up a little bit. You know, there was already the Hooligans was the name. You know, if you look back to this one here, it was really a big H. The colors were kind of orangish, so I just kind of changed up the colors, trying to get it to match my Red Rock Wranglers NCAA football franchise. So that's just kind of an easy way to do things a little bit, in that, you know, it's just some quick changes of some colors. You know, and that's kind of how you get started specifically with the logo, and that makes it a little bit easy. If you hit circle to get out of this area, you do want to save these changes. Make sure you hit X or else you'll lose everything. So hit X there, and that now is our new logo. Looks pretty good. I kind of think I want it to be a little bit redder on that W, but we're not going to worry about that right now. No matter what, I think it looks pretty cool. So the other option here is to you know, basically start from scratch. So now we've basically got these two teams. I've made the Lucky Leprechauns, as you can see to the left there, and now the Wranglers. Again, to make a new team, you're just going to scroll down here to the bottom. We're just going to say add team, and again it brings up a ton of options, but what we're actually going to do, we're just going to start with the first one. We're just going to start with this first one, the Advocates. We're going to say we want to create this team. What we're going to do is we're basically going to delete everything out and start fresh. And so this is kind of another way you could do things. If you got a little bit of an eye for things, you know, you got a little artistic streak in you, then obviously you can pretty much start from scratch. And so again, we're going to go to name, logo, and colors. You can start with your team name if you have an idea what you want to call yourselves. You can obviously very easily just say, you know, whatever that is that you want to call yourselves. So we're just, but for testing purposes, we're just going to call this team the Testers. So that's going to be our team name. Now, obviously, you see we got a logo sitting here, but we don't want any of this. So what you got to do is basically just go through and X out of everything. So if you scroll all the way over here to the right, that is your X out, deleting this specific section. You can copy it. That's what is there to the left of it. And this is kind of moving it up and down the layers. We can kind of talk about some of that later. Outlines, you know, this is kind of your color of an outline, and this is how thick you want your outline to be there, that second one, just to kind of show you what that looks like. I didn't really show you that in the previous logo there, but that can kind of change things up a little bit too for you, depending on how you want it to look. Thin outline, thicker, obviously you can get it all the way up pretty thick there. But in any case, we want to delete all this out. So we're just going to hit X, completely eliminate everything. You know, obviously we still kind of got these ones here, but we're not going to worry about those right now because we might just copy a lot of what we make. So let's just start. This is going to be the Testers. So you've got options here to create a layer. So you can use, you can pick an image. You can start with just some letters or words. Obviously you don't really have anything to outline yet, so you're not really going to do that part yet. Let's take a quick look at the images. So if you click on images up here at the top, it brings up a ton of mascot options, obviously. So you can kind of scroll through and pick what you want to do and what you want to use. You know, I kind of paid for a little bit extra initially here, so I got some of these extra ones here at the bottom that maybe some of you may not have seen. yet. But these are kind of some DLC, some extra stuff you can pay for. It was an extra couple bucks or something. When I purchased this just through the PlayStation website, it was kind of the ultimate package or whatever. It was 10% off, and then you were able to get a few more options. And so I kind of like that specifically because I kind of had an idea that my daughter and I wanted to do this Leprechauns one. So that was kind of why we did that. So ultimately there are a ton of different mascots. If you kind of hit R1 here to the right, it gives you some different props that maybe you'd want to throw in here. You can be anything from you turn Pitchfork into the Devils, however you want to do it. You can just be the Beards. That's part of the fun of this, is trying to make appropriate names for teams in order to make this a little bit more fun and make it a little funny, if you will. Unicorn, horn there. There's a fish hook. Looks like the one from Moana. Chainsaw, some different things. Then obviously there's some shapes here also. So if you hit R1 one more time, then you get a bunch of shape options. So there are just a ton of options, ton of directions to go on this. But just for purposes here, let's just pick one here. Let's go with this wasp one, just because. So right now, these are our current color options, and we got a giant wasp on our screen, which you could decide to keep if that's what you want, and that's fine. But if we wanted to, let's say, shrink it down, if you hit Move Design there, so you hit the square button, you want to move that design, and you hit, actually, it is, the L2 button will shrink it down. L2, R2, as you can see, that SLC is going up and down. That signifies, obviously, to you the direction that you're going, so you have to decide how big you want this thing to be. Then you can rotate it. If you hit the R1 or L1, we could have it try to be upside down, I guess, if you want. But ultimately, we'll just kind of keep it as is. We'll use the left joystick here and just kind of move it. Let's just move it over here to the side. So we'll just kind of start with it right here. This is completely new. I haven't done this. This is actually associated, it looks like, with the Beewolves. That's the Beewolves design. Oops. So I forgot to I hit cancel instead of accept there. So as you can see, it obviously made it big again. But anyway, we'll shrink this guy down, move him back over here, and this time we'll hit accept. And then if you want to create another layer, so let's just create another layer. We'll go back up here to the top, and we'll just say we want to add some text. So we'll say we just want to put the team name of Testers on the screen here. So we'll just put Testers. That is currently gray. It's kind of hard to see. So if we kind of come over here to the left, all the way to the number 1 there, which is gray, we can change the color. Again, this is our initial colors. If you want to add any new colors, you can come into the plus sign there, and then you can actually pick your own colors here. If you hit, well, now I forgot, the right joystick there, you can just ultimately get your grays and your blacks. You decide how much saturation you want there. If you want it really bright colors, just for fun, we're going to, let's just go with this bright green color, just for fun. And we'll say that's what we want. We want the Testers. I want to shrink it down a little bit, so we'll hit the square button to move it. We'll hit L2 a couple times here, just to bring it down. Kind of set it up right there in the middle, let's say. However you want to do it, then kind of, let's make it, let's just go, sure. We'll just go that big. We'll hit X to accept it. And there it is, kind of right in the middle there. Now, if you wanted to add an outline or something to any of this stuff, so let's say we want to outline those words. If you click the outline button here, now you get this outline option. So as you can see there, this outline thing here to the kind of left side there, right in front of outline, you see that has a little arrow that points up. So again, anything above this outline is going to, anything above the word outline there is going to get outlined by whatever color you pick here. So for instance, if I wanted to switch it up here, and let's just pick a blue color just so you can see what it looks like. As you can see, now we've got this, the testers. So the testers is outlined in blue, and so is the Beewolf really there. So if you wanted to increase what the outline looks like, make it thicker, you just kind of keep hitting the second one in, and that makes it nice and thick for you, depending on how thick you really want to go. Then if you thought, well, you know what, I don't really want it to outline everything. I want it to just outline the letters. So the only way to do that is to move this Beewolves down, so it's not above the outline. So to do that, you just kind of scroll over here to hit down, and now it is behind, if you will, the outline. So now that Beewolves is not outlined anymore, but testers is. Now again, if we want to change some of the font options, you come over here to this one that says F, and you just kind of scroll through and find the one that you like. Some ones that kind of look like some cursive, some block lettering. It's a lot of good options, a lot of fun options to kind of create your own team, your own thought process here of what you kind of want to do as a group. So, but now that testers is hogging up everything. So if you want to, again, we want to try to move that text, you got to come back up here to testers, hit move text, kind of move it with your left joystick there, if you will, to wherever you might want it on your screen. I don't really know if this is the best option. I'm just kind of giving you guys out there watching just kind of the idea of what you can do with this. If we want to kind of go through one together at some point, that might be kind of fun. But let's just kind of put it right there. I think, whoops, see, I did it again. So let's bring it down right there. If you don't hit X, it puts it back to where it originally started from. So we'll just say accept. I don't necessarily love the colors just because it's not really matching. I like things to match. So let's just make the letters here gray also. Let's just try to make it match sort of this Beewolf that's already there. So it's got, some outline of black there. So let's change this outline to black. Again, I'm just hitting this color option there, which is actually number 6, it says. And so actually that's coming together kind of nice. Now if I wanted to add another outline, let's just say to surround this entire thing in white, you can do that. So we just create a layer again, hit outline again, and let's scroll over here all the way to the left, and this time hit that number 1, which is your color options, and let's switch it up. Well, that doesn't look too bad actually. Just kind of switch it all up to white, then everything just kind of goes. But even still, I want to play with this a little bit more. Let's go white, but now maybe I want to add in some extra artwork, if you will. So let's come up here again, let's add another image, but this time let's scroll over here to the right. We could add some props. This team was just called the Testers, just because let's add this guy in right here, just because it's a stinger. It goes along with the Beewolves, but you can decide where you want to put this and where you want it to even go. Again, we want to move this design, so we're going to hit square. We don't really want it to be that big, so let's hit L2. That's going to shrink it down. And then let's rotate it, hitting R1. And then let's just actually move it down here, and let's shrink it down even a little bit more, just to kind of give the illusion that his stinger is sticking out the bottom, just because I made the letters too big. So let's just kind of put it right there, just for fun. But then it's kind of hidden by the words there, tester. Let's hit X to accept. So let's try to drop it back behind. So if we come back here to what is really a horn, but I've turned it into a stinger, we're just going to drop it down behind testers. which I kind of did there, but yeah, I don't know that you can really tell. It'll be better probably, let's just move it again just to show you how now it kind of sits. Well, actually it doesn't. Yeah, it kind of sits behind the letters, as you can kind of see there, and that's kind of what I wanted it to do. But we'll just kind of leave it right about there. So he's got a really bad stinger. Again, this is just the testers, so we'll hit accept to keep it there. I actually think I want to change the color of the letters again, so we'll come up here to number 1, switch the color to be this pretty blue color that's kind of the same color in the wings. And that's kind of it. But ultimately, obviously, you can change the colors how you want them. Just for curiosity's sake, now we want to move over here to this hat logo. What do we want our hat logo to be? So let's just, again, we'll just delete everything out of here. So we'll just come over here all the way to the right, hit X, 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 X. Take everything away that was already there. And now just say I want to just have the Beewolf on there. So again, we'll just go to image. We'll come over here to this Beewolf, hit X. And then we probably, again, don't want it to be so huge that it's taking up the whole screen. So you just want to say move design. Oops, I didn't want to rotate it. I just want to shrink it down. Kind of set it in the middle there, hit accept, and done. That's what's going to be, you can kind of see the helmet over there. Actually, that's quite a bit smaller than what I wanted, so we need to actually make that bigger. So we're going to move the design. You can kind of see what everything's sort of looking like over here. As soon as I hit accept, you'll see that thing get bigger on his... Oh, no, you won't. I thought you would. Say accept. And that's ultimately what the hat is going to look like. And then if we just come down here to hit R1 again to get over here to advocates. So this not necessarily bad wording, so let's just change it. So we just got to get to this T. You hit X on the T, it brings this up here, and we want to change advocate to testers because that's what we decided we were doing. T S T. Oops. ER. Dang it. Sorry about that. Tester. So now that's kind of what it looks like. And if we wanted it to match the testers that we have here, we kind of scroll down and double check here, if you look at the font or the F there, it is number 18. So we would want to scroll back over to this one, come down to testers, make sure we're on font, and then just make sure that we hit X until we get to number 18. But now it's huge. So obviously we need to shrink it down to make it fit. So again, we'll hit move it. We'll hit L2 until it gets down to the right size. Should have been testers. Sorry about that. But we'll just say have it be tester. We'll say accept. Let's again just go back in there and fix that. Go to the T. Hit X. Come over here to S. And there we go. Testers. And now again, let's just say we want to make some of this match so it looks the same on everything here. So we want this testers instead of advocates over here. We want testers, the same exact testers, to be in this area, or you can choose to make it different. It's completely up to you. That's the nice thing about this customization. Again, if you can see up in the top right hand corner there of the screen, it says copy logo. So we hit triangle. We want to move it over here to the Jersey Crest home, and we just say X to copy it, and boom, that's it. Now if we want this hat to either match this Beewolf or this Beewolf, just for fun, let's do this one. So we will again copy the logo, we'll hit triangle, we'll move it over here to the right to the home hat, and hit X, and that's it. So now it's actually will be a little Beewolf with testers on it, as you can sort of see on that hat. It's pretty small. And that's kind of it. So we have completely started from scratch, made up our own logo, if you will, even though we use Beewolves, but that's kind of how you do it. So we will X out of here. If you hit circle to get out of this kind of logo editor section, make sure again that you hit X to save it. If ultimately you decide you don't like it later, you can always X out of it one more time. If you hit circle one more time when you're on this team details screen, then you can actually just come down here and just say delete it. I don't really like it. So I think that's where we're going to end this video today. just a quick look at some of the options for. Excuse me, I got out of it here. Quick options. So we're still just kind of continuing with this testers theme. Quick look at the options for uniforms. Again, there's just a ton of options. Different variations of jerseys and how they look. The next time we can kind of go through that. I might end up doing it with my Wranglers one, because it might actually be a team that I like to use. I'm not obviously overly excited about this testers one. It was really just kind of showing you how you can really just start from scratch and make a team of your own. So otherwise your options are to kind of start with a pre-made logo and adjust it as necessary, or just keep it as is. So there's a lot of customization here. It's a lot of fun. If you enjoy doing this, it's really kind of an enjoyable aspect of this game. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, whatever the case may be, hit me up in the comments section. I appreciate talking to everybody, and whether or not that's on Twitch or whether or not that's on YouTube. If you like, please follow or subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. Hope you got something out of this, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.